and attaboy for that. And she was here because he was Charlie's best friend. Charlie would want her to be here, no matter what had happened at the end. "He really is a good boy, Ramona," Angela said in her thick Long Island accent. "He's a mother's dream, and a little girl's fantasy, and the cause of so many of Romey's problems." Grayson Norton was the definition of golden boy. He had the looks of a Greek god, the body of a fitness model, and a smile that could melt the panties off any woman between the ages of 18 and 88. Plus, he was rich, and his father had been the most beloved mayor in Sweetheart Lake's history. And he was a doctor. Dr. Perfect. He was the boy who'd saved a dog from being hit by a car by throwing himself in front of it, and the teenager who used to volunteer his time reading to the sickly at the hospital. He even helped old ladies cross the street. There was little fault one could find in Gray Norton. She was surprised they hadn't declared him a saint or erected a statue of him yet. There was already a parade planned in his honor on Founder's Day. He would hate that. Romey smiled at his future discomfort. "You look evil when you smile like that." Romey blinked at Angela. "Really? Should I stroke my imaginary beard for effect?" "You're out of your mind today," Angela muttered. "I am," Romey agreed, as she wrapped both her arms around the woman who had practically raised her when her mother had flitted in and out of her life. "But you love me anyway." She leaned against Angela's shoulder, while the older woman smoothed a comforting hand down her back. Romey hated that she needed soothing. Grayson was coming home after almost 2 years away. So what? Not a so what, she argued with herself. A big what. A big, huge what. The crowd around them suddenly hushed, and then like an explosion, a chorus of cheers erupted. Their boy was home. Romey couldn't help it. Her eyes went to him as he walked through the gate, carrying a ratty canvas bag. He was as beautiful as he had always been. Maybe a little leaner, a little shaggier. His dark hair was much longer than usual, his face covered with 2 weeks' worth of growth. He looked the same, and yet totally different. She had expected to see him smile and nod graciously as he walked through the crowd of excited citizens who had come out just for him. Damn it! Her heart lodged itself in her throat, pounding 1,000 times a second. She wasn't supposed to be this affected by his arrival. She wasn't supposed to give a damn. He'd turned his back on her, on Charlie. But Grayson was finally home, and he was coming right toward her.
There's no place like home. As Grayson Norton walked through security at the tiny airport that had been named after his maternal grandfather, he wondered who had come up with that saying. Was it even true? It must be. Sweetheart Lake was like no place he had ever been, and he had now been around the world. And yet home kept calling him. He could hear them, the people who'd watched him grow up, waiting for him to make an appearance. He knew by the brief conversation he'd had with his father that the whole town would be here, waiting for him to return home like he was some damn hero. Nowhere else would he get this kind of greeting. Nowhere else could he walk into a room and feel the pride and expectations of hundreds of people on his shoulders. He had liked that, being anonymous. He had liked operating in the world without anyone giving a damn about who his family was, or how much money they had. The only thing that had mattered was what he could do, not who he was from. There was a dread inside him. It wasn't the feeling he'd expected to have when he landed and saw the familiar sights of his hometown. He had wanted to be here. He had spent so many months in that dark, quiet place, desperately wanting to be back home. But now that he was here, the overwhelming feeling of having to step back